This is so stupid.
This is so incredibly awkward. Okay. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a very weird video because I have this guy here with me. Introduce yourself.
What up, guys? I'm Chumley, her boyfriend of way too long. And yeah, this is apparently a quick question and answer session.
Yeah, he has no idea what he's in for. So basically, I know you guys like him better than me, so that is why he's here. But we're gonna do a boyfriend tag where I'm gonna ask him a bunch of questions and we'll see how he answers, and then I'll ask the same questions of myself, and then we'll see if we get these questions right. Just as an intro, we've been together for how long now?
Over 9 years.
9.5 years.
Yeah. It's been a minute.
So that tells you how old we are. Wait, how old am I? I just turned 27.
Also 27.
Turning 28.
Yep.
We've lived together for 2 years now.
Yep.
Okay, so I have a few questions on like the general boyfriend tag list of questions to do, and then I also asked a couple of you guys on what you wanted to know, so I'll throw in some of those questions and who they were from. We'll start off with some very easy ones, and if he gets these wrong, we will have to break up. What color are my eyes?
Brown.
Brown, that's right. Where do I shop for my clothes?
Shein. Just Fab. Not really H&M. Maybe Macy's when my parents buy her things. My sister.
Yeah, I was just going for like online shopping. You don't shop for your own clothes. You have
Nope.
me and your mom shop for you.
Yep.
So
That's how I get my style.
NA. What is my favorite season of the year?
Summer.
Obvi.
No doubt.
How many languages do I speak?
I mean, I wouldn't count Sinhalese as a language she can speak. She can stutter in Sinhalese. So I'd say 2, English, French.
I would say 2 because I would consider French half French and then half Sinhalese, so a total of English and then those
I
2.
think, yeah.
Yeah,
That's like,
he
no.
can speak not Spanish, even though he's taken it for like 6 years.
Nope.
So English and Sinhalese.
Yep.
What was my favorite TV show as a kid?
Vampire Diaries, probably?
As a kid?
Yeah, I mean, like, what is a kid?
I'm talking about like elementary school. What was my favorite?
I don't even know what I liked in elementary school. Like Cyber Chase?
Yeah, I was gonna say Cyber Chase. I was gonna say Cyber Chase. I used to go home and watch that show every single day.
PBS,
afterwards.
support your public broadcasting stations, guys. PBS is the stuff.
What is my shoe size?
Ooh, 8.
You're completely wrong.
6?
Oh my god.
7.5.
Here's the thing, right? When he wants to buy me clothes and shoes, he doesn't know where to go, so he asks his mom, who knows all of my measurements. He knows none of them. Your shoe size is 8.5.
Yep.
Sometimes 9.
Yep.
Sometimes 8.
Yep.
Funny how I know those things about him. Do I love kids?
Yes, she loves kids. That's a joke. No, she does not. She does not. There are exceptions. Some kids are adorable. But does Ashanka want children? Hell no. That is a hell
Do
no.
I like kids? This is the funny question, because I used to love kids. Like, love kids. That's why I worked with kids for like a decade. And he did too.
Yep.
I don't know if it was a decade, because I started when I was like 12. And then I
5
ended.
years.
Yeah, so half a decade, sure. I worked with kids for a decade, because I used to love kids, but do I want them? Hell no. What is my middle name? And say it right.
Anushka Hassani. I don't even know if that's saying it right.
No, that's not even the right order.
Hassani Anushka?
Yes!
E-H-A.
Ehaj. So say it properly.
Ehaj.
No, my actual name.
Alright. Shanka Hassani Anushka Jason.
He's not even saying it correctly.
Oh my God.
What is my ideal vacation?
San Diego. Beach vacation. Surfing. Chilling on the beach.
Yep.
Beach life.
Yep. Every day, all day at the beach would be great.
Yep.
If we had
Coronado
volleyball,
Island.
yep. If we had volleyball, if we had games to play, if we just like kept. I could swim in the beach for 7 days straight and not be bored.
Yep.
What is your ideal vacation? Probably the same thing.
Yep.
Yep.
Sun, warmth, the ocean. Let's go.
Yep. Where did we take our first picture together? I know the answer to this. Like ever,
as a
ever.
couple?
No, ever. This is
Probably
an
at the
easy one.
temple?
Yeah, there you go.
I like
At the temple. Oh, okay, so let's give him our backstory
Oh
now.
my god.
I'll set the
Backstory.
tone for our entire relationship, which is pretty much the same as when I first knew you, which is I hated him. Literally hated him.
Yep.
So we've known each other since we were probably like 7.
No, I moved to this area
So then I was 9, okay? So we went to the temple together, and he was the one, like, crazy, off-the-wall little
the term
child.
she's looking for is rambunctious.
No, the term I'm looking for is monkey, because he would literally, like, run around the temple while I was sitting there like a good child and, like, trying
Boring.
to learn.
That
And so
worked
I
out
was
a
a grade
little
A
bit.
student, and he was literally throwing lemons. That's a true story. Throwing
They're
lemons,
limes.
limes, at the temple with his buddies, and I used to
Yep.
think they were like really, really bad, and
So
basically
much
just
fun.
getting into like a bunch of trouble, and I hated him, and I would go home and tell my mom like, oh my god, there's this one kid that just like annoys the crap out of me because he's never paying attention and always joking around and goofing off. He's a terrible student and all
Yep.
these things, and I literally used to tell my mom about this kid, and then here we are 9.5 years into our relationship, and I still think the same thing. He's still like a rambunctious monkey that I
Yep.
have to like handle.
That's fair. That's a solid recap. I'm gonna give my perspective.
Oh, boy.
From my perspective, Shunka sucked. She wouldn't want to hang out with anybody, wouldn't want to do fun things like play tag. Was always ready for class when class is supposed to start. Like there'd be an intermission for about like 20 minutes, so everybody football or whatever else, or tag or whatever.
Oh, I don't even.
Always sitting there waiting for the next class to start. Who does that? Who does that? You literally, literally asking like the typical. Oh yeah, no. Is there like homework due tomorrow or something like
I
that?
used to do my homework.
Oh my god. Yep. There's a reason we didn't hang out. Square.
There's definitely a reason we didn't hang
Swear.
out. I didn't want to hang out with him. So fast forward 10 years from that. So I had just started getting into dance, and I was gonna do a dance for the Sri Lanka New Year event thing that we do yearly. And this time I wanted to choreograph like a guy-girl number because I hadn't choreographed that before. And he was not my first choice.
Nope.
He was not my first
Not
choice.
at all.
So my first choice, this guy that I was like better friends with than him, obviously, in the Sri Lanka community, he couldn't do it. So then my grandma was like, "Oh, call up Chumbly." Worst decision of my life. 'Cause
Yep.
now I'm stuck with him.
Mistakes
But
were made.
mistakes were made. So I called him up and he was like, "Sure, I'll do it," and it went well.
Mhm.
He forgot one part of the dance. I still remember which part. Yep. We literally practiced you getting to side stage so many times and getting off the stage.
I've
at this
never
one part.
before this time. This is my literal second time dancing on a stage. Anxiety of this moment is coming back to me. This is really bad. This is really bad. This is really bad. Trust me,
Okay.
I've grown as a human being and a dancer since that day.
Human being man.
Man.
Dancer? Yes. What is your favorite memory of me so far?
Probably, I mean, the one that just comes to mind whenever I think of something exciting and fun that we've done is when we were surfing, and then when I looked over and we were surfing, we were literally riding the same wave together. Like, this is not in the deep ocean, right? Your boy can barely swim. All right, this is like we went to this surf training camp thing in San Diego with the crew last year, and it was one of the best times I've had just hanging out with people. And we're all at this place learning how to surf. As we like keep going, and we're just like riding this wave for probably a good 70 to 80 meters, right? Like it was a solid.
I don't know.
It was a solid distance. The wave was like coming down a little bit, and I just like look over, and it's her, and her and I are literally just like right one beside one another, cruising the same wave. I was like, yeah, this is sick. This is awesome.
It's probably one of my favorite memories too. Probably like any San Diego trips and
Yeah,
or even when we went to California that
with
one year.
Sean and Marsha. Yeah. And that I was just thinking that too. Like we went to like Devil's Peak or whatever that was called, that little hill that we jumped off of.
We also went to the Grand Canyon, and then there's
Oh yeah, because their family took us road tripping with them. Moral of that story is we're moving to California at some point because like
ASAP.
literally all of the best memories.
all of our best memories are in California, and
It's
we're sitting
such
here
a good.
in Michigan getting
Oh,
ready for the
man.
Michigan winter. Am I sporty? What sports am I good at?
She's extremely sporty. She's good at. I mean, I consider dance a sport because like that stuff is hard as hell.
Sure.
Some of the dances I see are way better shape than me, so don't make me
We've become
indicative.
one of those dances a sport people.
Don't make me indicative of the dancer body type because those people are nuts.
I think
like,
it's
all these
more of an
people.
art form than it is a sport.
Yes, but you need to be extremely physically fit to do
Sure.
it well. So dance, volleyball, frisbee soccer.
Are you missing the most obvious one?
Most likely, absolutely. Tennis.
Tennis? Basketball was my first
She's not
sport.
very good at basketball.
Yeah, he's very athletic too. Frisbee.
No, not very.
No, I'd say so.
Moderately.
I'd say more than
Quarantine
one
has not helped.
Yeah, no.
Quarantine has not helped.
For either of
Oh
us.
my god.
This is a bit of a trick question. Would I prefer a dream wedding to be simple or luxurious?
Dream, she would have loved luxurious, but simple now in a luxurious setting. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be like friends and like we're all chilling, but we're gonna be doing it in San Diego, right? Or like by a waterfall in Hawaii, like something like that. But it's like really low key, like 10, 15
Like
close
wear a
people.
bathing suit.
Yeah, we're like no ceremony, you know, it's just us, we're just hanging out and we're like, hey guys.
Oh yeah, definitely no ceremony. I'm not like trying to sit up there and like talk for
No,
10
not at all,
hours.
not at all. Literally like, hey, we signed the papers, you know, we got married today.
Like
Now we
chill,
just
by the way, we're already married, but this is like
we wanted to hang
fun.
out with you and just like, you know, go on vacation.
Adam is asking, what piece of advice would you give to your past self? Oh, so much. Don't date him. Don't talk to him.
I would say
Stay away from him.
Damn.
I'd probably say when you're in an argument, even if you're on differing sides of the argument, realize that you're still on the same team. I think that changes your perspective on arguments a lot, and we're still working toward that, obviously. But if you realize every single time you're in an argument you're on the same page, it helps the argument not last as long and be so like hurtful or whatever. My sister is asking, best and worst thing about being in a relationship. Best thing is that this is my best and worst thing about being in a relationship. Best thing is that you're never alone, and that's also the worst thing. Because I like a lot of like my own time, and I like being alone and doing my own thing a lot of the times because I'm like a very introverted person.
Cheers. Oh my God.
And sometimes, but then on the opposite end of the spectrum, sometimes I just like am clingy AF and just like need someone immediately. So depending on my mood is like what the best and worst part of the relationship.
Yeah, I think like the best part of a relationship is always having someone there for you to hang out with and like talk to and whatever else, right? Like someone you can always share a moment with. The worst thing in a relationship, I mean, I can't think of one. Outside of the fact that we had to move out of my parents' house. I loved living at my parents' house, so she doesn't share that sentiment. I absolutely loved it, and that's probably the worst part about this relationship is having to have moved out. Because I miss my cats and my parents and my mom and my sister.
Jad is asking, why is Chum so cute?
I don't know, Jad. I ask myself that every day.
I don't. So Anushka is asking, how adulting works and tips on undergrad depression.
That's a really good question, though.
It is a really good question because I think a lot of people get hit with it because you're there for like 4 years and then you are like done with your friends,
yeah.
You're going on to bigger things. I think that like something that you have to keep in mind is like what is your career goal? What are your career goals? Do you have any other goals outside of that? And I think that like right after undergrad you have to like do like 110% towards all of those things to keep you from being depressed that you're not with your friends all the time, because it is a huge change, especially if you lived on campus and you were just like always with your friends.
One of the best pieces of advice I could give someone is don't let your degree limit what you could do with your life, because
neither of us are doing anything related to our degrees. Right?
Absolutely. Like I honestly think like pursue whatever dreams you think you want to, like whatever career paths or whatever else opportunities that present themselves. This is like, you know, so cliche, but like the worst thing you're gonna get is a no.
I also think it's just like important to remember there's like you've done so much, but the best parts of your life are about to come.
Oh, absolutely.
So.
Literally. It's like when you start making real money and then being able to do things with that money,
and making real like adult decisions. I thought I was gonna hate adult life, but I actually love it. Like I thought adulthood was gonna be the worst part of my life, but these past 2 years have been the best part of my life. Garbati is asking, do you get jealous? This is a great question, and I think we have a very interesting take on jealousy.
yes.
Jealousy, I think, is normal, obviously, especially at the beginning of a relationship because you don't like know any better, I guess.
That's a good point.
And you don't have I think jealousy comes from the root of not being like stable or trusting of each other enough, which happens at the beginning of a relationship normally. Like you don't trust the other person that much. You don't even know the other person that much, really. We are like super anti-jealousy. So much to the fact that I will literally point out to him on the street like, hey, that guy's like hella attractive, and he'll be like, yeah, he's hella attractive.
There's my hella attractive dudes out there.
and he'll do the same thing, like, isn't that girl really pretty? Like, be like, yeah. And I'd point out a girl to him and be like, isn't that girl beautiful? Like,
yeah, we're just like, oh my god, that girl's gorgeous.
Yeah. And we're just kind of like that because we like actively try and stay away from jealousy because it causes way more issues than it does like good things in your relationship. And I like hate someone who's like, but like, isn't he like jealous when you go do this, this, and this? And I'm like, he better not be. I break up with him. Like, I don't want someone holding me back because they're jealous. That's like the most petty, like, toxic masculine in the world. Like
Completely agree.
I'm not okay with jealousy, and he's not either.
Early in our relationship, she asked, like, if I were to, you know, find someone else, would you fight for me? And I was like, absolutely not. Like, that was from day one.
Oh
like,
yeah,
that
that's
was my
another thing
perspective.
that we're really taught in like rom-coms and movies and in society in general. Like we're taught that like if your partner is like falling for someone else, you're supposed to fight for them. Like you're supposed to fight for them so that they realize that like you're the best person for them, that you need to stay together, all this stuff. So I'd ask him a question like, yeah, if I was like falling for someone else, would you fight for me? And in my mind, I'm like, oh, you know, he'll be the hero that like fights for me and swoops me off my feet.
Nope.
And
So yeah, in my mind,
Yeah.
like, it doesn't make sense, right? Like, if you're falling for a worse person than me, I'm gonna be like, yo, come on now. Like legitimately, that person is worse, objectively worse than me. But if you're falling for a better person than me, and I truly love you, I would let you go because I want what's best for you. That is love. Like, in my mind, me being able to let you go to do your best thing, like, that's my love. Like, if my cat met someone who could just like let him be outside and safe for the rest of his life, and I knew he would get all the pets he wanted that I cannot give him right now because I'm living here in Detroit, and that's what was best for him. Yeah, then the little homie needs to go there because that's the best thing for him.
good thing he has your mom and your sister to give him
Oh,
all the
absolutely.
pets. That's a concept I had never heard before, which is like if your significant other is falling for someone better than you, that you would let them go. I was like, what? What does that mean?
Yeah, that was a struggle in the beginning when
Yeah, because I would get mad. I was like, you wouldn't fight for me? But I get it now. Like, I really do. And I think that's like a selfless type of love that I have never seen before. And no one really ever sees before. Not in any movies. Because, like,
Yeah,
the
well,
guy is
the
always
premise of the
fighting for
movie
them.
being, yeah, no, I let her go.
That'd be a
Roll
crappy
credits.
movie. Yeah, that'd make for... Yeah, our movies would not be... Our screenwriting skills would be terrible. Gerbs is also asking... Stop looking at the questions. If you two broke up, knock on wood, who...
Oh my god, knock on wood, we'll
who,
break up.
Who would get Gerbani in the divorce?
Ooh, good question.
Obviously me. Slew of questions from Gerbani. Biggest lesson you've learned after moving in with each other?
You are very set in your ways, and if you can't have things your way, like, it overwhelms you. That goes to, like, literally her mental well-being.
Yeah, no, my mental well-being really depends on the state of where I'm living. I think that, yeah, that contributes to why I've been so happy for the last 2 years, or whatever,
Yeah.
1.5 years, is because I have control over, like, where I'm living, what I'm doing with it, how clean or unclean it is, because it's not like I'm clean all the time, it's just
No.
like I have I'm pretty clean all the time, but I have control over how unclean I am.
Yeah, so my mom was all about freedom, right? And whenever she'd let me go and do whatever I wanted, she didn't really care what time I came back because I was being safe, and she knew I was being safe because she raised me right. Ashanka was not from that kind of a background, so she would like sometimes text me and be like, why didn't you tell me you were going over to this person's house? Like, you didn't even tell me you were doing this. And that was a point of contention for us. And at one point, and she was very good about this, like, to her credit, where I was like, I don't tell my mom these things, like, don't expect me to tell you these things because I just do them, right? Like, I've never grown up in that kind of an environment where I had to report to an authority in that regard.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I still like get annoyed if he doesn't text me, like, say like there was a change of plans, because in my head I'm like a very like, I don't know, like structured. Yeah, I'm a very structured person, so I need to know what we're doing when we're doing these things. So if something happens, I expect a text saying, hey, like, I'm actually doing this. And he does that. But it's like I think that's like the biggest thing from like moving in together, finding that common ground of like where you are a certain way and the other person is a certain way, so you find a compromise. Like, my compromise is I get to clean the house the way I want to clean it, and that's how I get the place that we live to be like how I want it to be lived in, and I don't expect him to do too much cleaning because he's not gonna clean to my standard anyway.
Nope.
So
we established that early on.
yeah, and then like for him, like if he's going out somewhere, like pre-COVID, if he's going out to work, like I expect he's gonna go like do something with his coworkers, and like I don't care. I just expect a text at some point in the day. I also think it goes back to like the whole trust thing.
Yeah.
I got much better at doing that as like the years went on, because you build that trust anyway. And at the beginning of a relationship, I was not a very trusting person. Favorite and least favorite thing about each other?
I think the greatest thing is the fact that she lets me be me. If I couldn't be all of me all the time when I was at home, there'd be a giant problem.
I'm a very tolerant person.
Yes. Yeah,
and me being with Chumley is just like a testament to that. What's your least
favorite is probably when she sleeps sideways, and then we've gotten a king size bed, and even
this is our
still,
king size bed.
even still,
It's still
she
not enough
takes
room.
Space.
My favorite thing
There's
is
so
that
many.
he
There's
cooks
so many.
food for me. He cooks every night for us, and I cannot cook, nor do I have any will or desire to cook. It's
And
just
you
like
don't want to eat it.
and he cooks really well, so this works really great because he makes me all of my favorite food.
Shout out to Mama.
Yeah, his mom's a great cook, so he's a great cook.
My mom cooks like literally 2/3 of all of our meals, so we
Yeah, she
eat
packs
breakfast
it
and
up for us for every
fantastic.
week. It's amazing.
My mom's the best person in the world.
It's amazing. Other thing is like he's definitely taught me like a new definition of love and caring.
Wow, that's deep.
There's deep.
It's deep.
Because I'm way better at answering these questions than he is.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I'm like a critical thinker, you know. No, I think he's taught me a different definition of love that I did not realize existed in the world. Like such a selfless, caring, do everything for the other person type of love that I did not realize existed, nor had I ever like grown up knowing. Least favorite thing, I have a list. I have so many things, but
Probably.
like, literally today I was like, can you please just, when you pick something up from a certain area where I have like so diligently put it away in,
These are arbitrary
if
locations.
you take some,
These
it's
are
not arbitrary, it makes
locations.
perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. He takes it and then he'll leave it at the exact opposite end of the apartment. And then of course it's up to me to go put it back, but it's like a weekly thing. He'll put it somewhere else, I have to go put it back. Akshay is asking who has a better shot with Nadia from Indian matchmaking between the two of you.
Who's Nadia?
The girl that we liked.
Oh, me, 100%. 100%.
It's definitely
No, the guy in
Nadia,
girl. The guy in
yes.
girl. Oh, 100%.
Nadia, if you're watching, I'm here for you.
100% me.
Long is asking, where does Chum get his shirts? My man's always on point. His mom or me?
Correct. I cannot shop for myself. I don't understand style. Like, why does this look good? I don't know.
He has no idea. Katie is asking, if money in space was no object, how many cats would you guys have?
All of them.
Also, she's asking, have you ever thought about stealing the chickens?
Oh, 100%.
His mom has chickens in his backyard because their neighbors got chickens, but those chickens favor his mom because his mom gives them food and loves them. So yes, we would steal the chickens.
Yes.
How many cats would we have? Like a bazillion and one.
And piggies,
Piggies, horsies,
sheep,
dogs,
otters, raccoons.
goats, those little goats that jump
Oh,
around.
they're so cute. But nothing bred.
Nothing bred. No. We would have a huge farm and let them run around, and the horses would not be part of the farm because horses need more land than a farm can
We'd have a
offer.
sanctuary.
If I was one animal, what would I be?
Oof. Probably a sea cow. Cause it's the closest thing to a mermaid.
Honestly, being a cat would be great.
Oh,
You just
totally.
sleep all day, get food, get pets. Like, what else do you need in life? Am I a morning person or a night person?
She is a morning person.
What?
Oh, you do not stay awake. A night person can stay awake happily till 4 a.m.
But I can't get up early either.
You cannot stay up past 12.
Yes, I can.
No, you cannot.
I'm a night person.
She is not a night person.
I'm a night person.
She regularly
I'm a
falls
night
asleep
person
on
that
the
loves sleep. What would be our ultimate date? Like, what would be the best date in the world? We don't go on dates, by the way. Oh, that was another question I just realized. Akshay asked, the other Akshay Radia asked. He asked, what do we do to keep, like, the flame alive? And I, like, literally laughed out loud reading that because we don't do anything to keep the flame alive.
Yeah, not really.
Because
That's
I
pretty
don't-
much because I'm an agreeable person.
That's not why.
That is 100%.
That's not why. I'm the most tolerant person in the world to be dealing with him. But no, he asked that, and that's a good question because a lot of couples are like, oh, you gotta keep the flame alive. You know, you gotta like keep the passion and all this stuff. And I don't think that's a like a bad thing for some couples, but we don't.
We just vibe. Lack of a better term.
Oh God.
It's just like there's literally like nothing that we have to do with one another.
Honestly,
Just,
sometimes I just
existing
need like
is fine.
time. I just need time to sit there. I don't need to be like doing anything. We could be watching a show. I just need like sitting time next to each other, and that's all I need. We don't go on dates.
Every now and then, like
Every
I'll
now
not
and
treat her
then.
to like side tie or
But
something.
that's because I love food. Like, we both love food so much. It's not about, like, us necessarily more than it is about the food.
Exactly.
That's why we are where we are today.
Exactly.
It's not just, like, not worth it to us unless we're on, like, a vacation
Mhm.
for us to go
Yeah.
do something for ourselves.
Right.
Vacations, I think, are our biggest splurge because that's where...
We'll go for like a week somewhere
Yeah.
in there, and that's like a hella privilege to say, but
It is very privileged to say
we
that
don't
we'll
spend
go-
money almost anywhere else.
Exactly, because vacations are like our way of treating ourselves. Whenever we think about our birthdays or any special occasions, we're like, where can we go, not what can we do? Yeah, so maybe that's something to like keep the fire alive, but it's not even about that. We always end up inviting like all of our friends, so it's not like about us going on a vacation, it's about
Yeah.
like us going on a vacation.
Exactly.
Any final thoughts? Any final
What kind of thoughts are you
Words.
talking about? THLTS.
yes. Actually, I have another question. would we actually get married? That's a question I get all the time because
Actually,
we are literally
that's
coming
pretty
up on
funny.
our 10-year, and people ask me all the time, especially because I'm like our age, that like all of my friends are getting married and we've been together for like the longest, like a really long time. Would we get married?
Yeah. I mean, like in my mind, like getting married's like it's not that big of a deal. Like I've never felt like it's like it's
What?
because of,
No, I'm just kidding.
it's because of like the way people like view their lives, right? And like the stages that they have, like they have to make things official and all these things. And like I don't know, I've always felt like marriage, there's like all these things put on, like these stratifications of your relationship that people try and
It's
achieve.
milestones. There's milestones, and it's everyone's life.
Yeah, exactly. And to me, it's like it's much more like kind of like blurry where those milestones are. So to me, like we effectively live a married life. Like if we were to separate, there would be huge ripples throughout, right?
Yeah.
Throughout our lives. So
if we were to get divorced, it
exactly.
would be.
So pretty like we've already been married at this point. Let's just do it for the tax benefits and get that over with, right? So I mean, I think ideally we'd hoped. I don't know, if pre-COVID we were kind of talking about it, it's like maybe we could just go to San Diego this summer and like tell our friends like, hey, we're going.
Honestly, if COVID hadn't happened, I feel like we would have just gone to San Diego this year and just
probably this week.
Like eloped. Yeah, this week we probably would have gone and eloped.
Yeah.
But we don't. That's the thing. Like we don't really care enough to. We don't care enough to make plans about it right now. And sometimes I think like, I'm like, oh, what's just like the prettiest like date? And then let's just go get eloped that day.
Yeah, exactly.
To have like a cool anniversary.
Love
date.
the numbers.
Yeah.
I'm OCD like that.
Yeah. And we both have birthdays in August, so I feel like August is a great month to do it. But anyway, yeah, we just don't care enough. Like I wouldn't really care that much if we got married or not. Like I have a very jaded view on marriage in general, and I think that most marriages end up in divorce. And not. So I kind of feel like if you put that marriage label on things, it makes it like a little bit more like, oh my god, you're
So
married,
serial.
you're like locked into this.
Yep.
I don't really feel like that's the way to approach a relationship. That's why I don't really care about marriage that much. I'm good if we do, I'm good if we don't. At this point, we're like, let's just do it at some point and just like get it over with. Have a vacation. That's the most important part.
Yep.
It's going
Tell
on a
your peeps,
vacation
we're just
with the
hanging out.
friends. It's a honeymoon with everybody. That's
Exactly.
my dream. But yeah, so closing remarks. Do you have any advice for people who are in a relationship, trying to be in a relationship after your 9.5 years of experience?
Well, acknowledging my privilege, Shanka's my first girlfriend. I didn't really think I needed to be in a relationship to be happy. And now that I'm in a 9.5 year relationship, I mean, like, perspective. But the only thing I would say to people that are looking to be in a relationship right now is don't compromise on your values when you're going into a relationship. Like, that is just like, because at some point that's just going to bite you in the ass. If that person isn't truly who you need, and you're like, you know what, I can overlook the flaws or I can change them. Like, how much have I really changed my core beliefs or my core things over the 9.5 years? I don't think I've changed anything fundamental to who Chumley is, right? And she hasn't either, because like that, that. So you can't, even if you think like it's a small red flag, if that term red flag is coming up at some point, you cannot be with that person, because in the long run, there's going to be things that just don't change.
Okay, my advice is probably, I think a lot of people, so like you said, don't change for your relationship and don't compromise on your values. But I do think on the other end of things, a lot of people nowadays, especially with dating apps and like, I guess like all of the different social media platforms we have to find people, there's like two parts to my advice. We don't believe in soulmates. We don't think that like we're the only ones for each other.
Correct.
I think that's.
I'm very flexible. Hit me up.
Oh my god.
Hit me up in the comments.
I'll leave his Tinder profile.
Yeah, I know, right?
No, we don't believe in soulmates, and we think that there's a lot of people that would work for us, right? So, with social media, I think a lot of people have become not like picky, but like picky on stupid things. Like, being attracted to someone is obviously like a thing. You are attracted to someone or you're not, like that.
Yep.
Sure, yes. But like, I've seen my friends be really nitpicky on like the stupidest things, and then like having a type or having like, I don't know, just like very nitpicky details that they need the other person to have that I don't really think matter in the end. It's not like Chumley was my type. Like, he was not my type. Or my type. He didn't really have a type anyway, but he was not. He was like he was the opposite end of what I thought I would end up with, basically, looks-wise.
Oh, absolutely.
I was not gonna end up with a brown guy, but this is where we are.
The world is a cruel.
But I think that, like, when you find someone else that shares those types of core beliefs,
You vibe with.
when you find someone else that you share your core beliefs with, it's also important to realize that you will grow with each other. I think that's what defines a relationship, is like the growing part. It's not like who you were before, because you do end up like changing. Like even one of my core beliefs like has slightly changed in a way. Like we're becoming vegan and I wasn't vegan before, and that's because one of my core beliefs has like changed. But it's the way you grow together that defines a relationship. So I don't think that you should like off the bat think that you're gonna be with someone and like be good with them. Like we had significant arguments in the first 2 years.
It was
Yeah,
really
the
bad.
first 2 years of our relationship was us figuring everything out, because we came from like households where like lots of stuff was happening, and that impacted our relationship and who we were as people and like all of those things. And like you trying to figure that out with someone else and all of their baggage and all of their issues is like a big enough fight. So don't think that like you find someone and you immediately don't like completely get each other, that like you can just toss them away and find someone else. I honestly think that that's an issue for a lot of people, especially with like dating apps. You just like on to the next date. Because like it's so easy to just throw away people, and you don't realize like what potential that you do have with those people. And I'm not saying stay in a relationship that like sucks.
Yeah, like if someone's
that's not what I'm
physically or
saying.
emotionally abusive.
Again, I believe that there's multiple people out there for you, so it's not like if you let one person go, you won't ever find anybody else because they were your soulmate. I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying you need to kind of like give it some time and give it your all, because you are like already two different people with two different like emotional beings and pasts, and you're trying to like figure out how to work. That's not an easy task. And I've never seen any relationship in my life work, right? So there's a lot of people out there like that don't have a healthy way of looking at relationships. So I just think like the growth is what matters the most.
I think that's a really good way of putting it.
Yeah.
It really is like we have kind of like over time learned about one another through those arguments and pushing through it. And at any one of those points, we could have stopped dating. Because,
there's so many times where we were gonna break up.
Many times.
There's so many times that we were gonna break up.
You grow through it and you learn to understand how to get around each other and like work with one another.
So, moral of the story, I'm better at answering these questions than he is.
So true.
But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my co-host for being here. I know everyone loves him more than me, so here you go. If you didn't already, please hit that like button, because it helps me out a lot to make these videos for you.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up for Chumley being here. If you want to see him more in videos, I will do that. I know a lot of people ask for like a boyfriend does your makeup situation, and I'm just horrified by that whole thing.
The only thing I like about makeup brushes is how soft they are. Guys, if you haven't felt, what is it, a kabuki brush? The really big flat one?
You know the
Y'all,
name.
straight up, this brush feels like a pillow. Like if you could make a pillow out of this brush.
Anyway, we might do that if we get enough likes and like comments on the video, so make sure to like it and comment it and subscribe to my channel, because I do a lot of DIYs, I do some dance videos, I also do like finance related videos. Just click that subscribe button for me, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.
See you guys. Peace.